Hi, this is Jane with Green Biz. It is almost spring, my favorite season. I love spring. When I've come to work the last couple days, there's been a robin hopping just right where I'm going to be parking my car. And at night at home, I can hear the peep frogs. I love having the windows open just a little bit and listening to the outside sounds. So, come spring, everybody's getting excited about, well, spring things, aren't you? In fact, I was sitting here reading my bag of weed and feed and finding about, when I can put this out. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, the do's and don'ts of what to do in the spring. Here, let me put the bag down so I can just really talk to you. So, while we're talking about the weed and feed, I have seen customers coming in and, well, they've been asking about weed and feed. I've been to stores and people have been buying it. Should you be putting that on yet? Have no fear. Even though spring is near, winter is still here. So, the thing with weed and feed and other types of things that you'll be putting on your lawn, it's too early. The ground is not warm enough yet to put on something like this. What you are doing, if you put on a product like this too soon, you're wasting your money. No, we've talked about this before. You don't want to waste your money. When the grass starts, growing, when your weeds are really kind of starting to come up, the ground is warmed up, that's the time to do it. I was noticing on the back of this, there's a little map of the United States, and it shows where we are, and it tells you what time of year you can start putting this on. And some of that depends on how warm your winter has been. Here in North Carolina, we've had a really nice winter. So I was noticing on the map, it said like mid-March to May. In March, you could probably start doing it, but not now at the end of February. So this winter, we have had a lot of rain. You maybe have been sitting there looking out the window, looking at the rain, and the more rain, and the more rain. Or perhaps you're up north and you've had snow. Either way, you've been dreaming about spring. And you've been dreaming about being able to go out in your yard and actually do something. So it's now starting to warm up here in North Carolina. And what kind of things can you do? You can go out and of course you can do cleanup. You can clean up, the dead leaves, the debris, the branches that have fallen. Of course you can do those kind of things. There may be some types of trimming that you can do, and there definitely some types of trimming you should not do. Any kind of a plant that blooms early in the spring, for instance, a forsythia, you would not touch that plant right now, because if you trim a forsythia now, you'll have no flowers this spring. None. A rose, however, doesn't bloom until May, June, depending on where you live. A rose, you could do some light trimming, and in fact, you should be cleaning out those dead canes that you can see that are visible. Around here, roses are starting to put out some leaves, so you'll be able to see where the dead canes are. When I was a little girl, my dad used to get seed catalogs. He loved looking at the Burpees or the Gurney seed catalogs. Perhaps you're thinking about getting out there and getting your garden going. So, again, there's some things that you maybe shouldn't do quite yet. If you go out and start tilling up your garden right away, especially around here when we've had so much rain, it's counterproductive. You're just going to be kind of mushing it down. You need to let the ground dry out a little bit, or up north, thaw. You just can't get out there quite too soon. And talking about vegetables, there are some vegetables that you can do early. They're crops that like to be grown in the cool weather. For instance, broccoli, cauliflower, lettuce. You can plant those now, and they'll do okay. Well, here in North Carolina. Up there, no. So those are crops that you can do now. But a crop of, say, tomatoes, don't even bother. Don't even think about your tomatoes yet, unless you're actually growing them from seed, and that's a whole different story. Because tomatoes, peppers, some of those are very warm weather crops, and they want a warm soil. And the soil of February, March is just not hot enough for them. Just put your brakes on and hold off and do those next month or the month after. Okay, so we've been, kind of waiting for spring in this video. But there are some things that can be done now. Perhaps you've, again, been looking out your window at maybe this big brown area in your yard, or this area that really needs a nice tree or some nice shrubbery. GreenBiz can do that kind of work now. It's an excellent time to call them and get an appointment, and they can come out and do the work. So for instance, they can lay sod now, and come spring you'll have that nice green area on your yard. They can put in some trees, they can plant shrubbery now, and what really happens is it gives that root system kind of that, little jump start, so that it's going to be able to just take off when that weather turns, which is going to be pretty soon. So feel free to give GreenBiz a call, have them come out and get some work done for you, get a jump start on it. You're going to be the first one in the neighborhood to have that great looking yard come spring. This is Jane with GreenBiz, wishing you a happy spring and a quick goodbye to winter.